Joining us now, Republican candidate Lieutenant Governor Jill Vogel. Good to have you with us, Jill.
Good morning. It is always awesome to be with you. I've missed you.
Well, thank you.
You had a fun holiday.
I did. It was a wonderful holiday, and thank you so much. And I went to Bobby Scott's annual Labor Day picnic yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Got a chance to see your general election opponent, Justin Fairfax. He's doing well. He says hi. He's a good guy. But I was saying earlier that Ralph Northam didn't seem himself yesterday. His campaign is wound so tight. They're trying to turn him into somebody he isn't. And I think he's going to lose. That's just me. When you try to be something you aren't, I don't think it's a good thing. And I think it's wearing on him. But that's for a separate day. I saw this hit piece that my friend Patrick Wilson did on you in the Times-Dispatch today. And the picture they utilized.
I heard your intro. And one, I think you're calling me ugly, and it is a hideous picture.
It's hideous.
But it's counteracted by the fact that you called me young, which was awesome because I'm 47, and I'm so happy somebody thinks I'm still young.
Well, you don't look 47. I mean, look, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look, I go on CNN.
Yeah, it's a bad picture. And you know what?
It is a horrible picture.
There's a hit piece that, the opposition is fundamentally finding themselves in this position. They cannot win on the issues. Justin Fairfax is not going to succeed by talking about he wants to take down every statue in Virginia. He thinks they are psychologically damaging and offensive. That's a loser. That is not where people in Virginia are. It's outrageous. It's extreme. And nobody wants their taxpayer money spent that way. Nobody wants their taxes raised. He's not just, opposed to my proposals to lower taxes. He wants to raise taxes. He wants mandatory insurance for all gun owners. So you can see why it's better if they just give out those stuff, try to get hit pieces written, and, it happens all the time. Single-payer health care. Have you found a single person in Virginia that who thinks that Obamacare has been better?
No.
And my opponent actually is for single-payer health care and coverage for every person in Virginia. I mean, it's extreme, and it's so far outside the mainstream. And once you take those positions, how do you walk that back? So all you can do is just try to, trash me. So there you have it.
I know, but it would be one thing if the hit piece came from the Democratic Lieutenant Governor for Virginia. This hit piece came from Patrick Wilson, who's a good guy, and he's fair. And so I had to read this 2 times, and I'm scratching my head like, what prompted this? And then the picture they used, I mean, it's just, that's just unbelievable.
I sat down and had an interview with him that was a couple hours long. And they were going to do a cover piece on all the candidates running. Well, they did a cover piece on Justin Fairfax before the primary. But you know what? It's never happened for me. I just think that you have to, build into every campaign this sense that I don't think that, at least on my side, whether it's the Post or whether it's, the other papers, Patrick is actually an awesome guy. But I don't ever see that I'm going to get a fair shake. Mm-hmm. They're never going to write about my policies. They're never going to write about the issues. It's just going to be, hit piece after hit piece that the other side feeds them. And, hey, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But we just have to actually work twice as hard so that the real message is out there. I think, though, that one of the things that is the takeaway from the Trump campaign is people actually now, for the first time, get that there's fake news. Because I think most people always believe, well, what you get is real and legit and fair and balanced. And I think now people realize it's not. And even my friends who are Democrats comment on the coverage and will say, geez, I mean, it's so biased. So, you have to take it with a grain of salt and know that you're doing the best work you can possibly do. I've got a record of 10 years in the legislature, working on every issue you can think of, and that's what I got to run on. What I believe in and who I am and what I stand for, and draw the contrast. I don't think there's anybody on this Democratic ticket who stands in sharper contrast to the Republican than Justin Fairfax. I mean, he's so far outside where his ticket is on things like energy. He's the only person out of everybody running in Virginia who's 100% against expanding natural gas in Virginia. That's the only way we get jobs in the Southwest. That's the only way we get more manufacturing. And it's the only way that you get renewable energy. So, it's extreme.
Look, he is extreme. And the way this happens, so my audience knows how these hit pieces go down, is the opposition will shop their hit piece to a media representative, right? They'll call them up. They'll send them stuff. They'll say they have research. I mean, look, I was in that business for a long time. I've been on the other end of this for a very long time. I still get it on the radio where people shop hit pieces to me and they try to get somebody to take up the issue or write about it or whatever. But looking at that, I mean, your law firm is what it is. I mean, you do nothing illegal.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not shopping a hit piece on my opponent in this race and all the clients that his law firm had that are staggering. And I'm sure many of them are highly controversial. I just run an ethics nonprofit charities law firm, and we represent people who want to make sure they don't break the rules, the IRS rules, the ethics rules, the federal rules when it comes to election law and state law. That's what we do. I'm really proud of the fact that I have built this from one lawyer to being a firm that is highly respected nationwide, and I'm really proud of that. And if that's what they want to hit me on, what I do for a living, okay, so be it.
Well, they're desperate. I mean, I got to tell you right now, the whole ticket, except for Herring, he's going to win. They're very desperate. And I see it
that way, like hiding on Labor Day, that seems a little desperate. I mean, you don't show up to the big, statewide campaign kickoff where every candidate has gone. It's also this, in my mind, a little bit of respect for the voters and respect for tradition. We have long-standing traditions in Virginia that are part of the Virginia way, being collegial, showing up. And I think people were shocked yesterday in Buena Vista that for the first time ever, candidates came and left and didn't walk in the parade and refused to come and, be there with everybody. And, you get huge coverage from the media. This is a big event. And for your listeners who don't know, it's this big day in Buena Vista that has historically been the kickoff of the Labor Day, kind of campaign season. And all campaigns statewide really start getting attention at Labor Day. So, anyway.
Jill, let's get to the facts here of this race, and let's get to monuments and statues. And I have to commend you on something. When this whole debate came up, a lot of Republicans were waiting to see where the wind was blowing. They were waiting for the focus groups. They were waiting to get poll results back. They kind of hid under the blankets. You didn't hear from some of them. They had milquetoast statements. You, on the other hand, right off the bat, came out and said, teach history, don't erase it. Don't take the monuments down. Don't take the statues down. In fact, you came up with a sign that you guys put out immediately that said, Jill Vogel for Lieutenant Governor, don't erase history, teach it, or teach history, don't erase it. Right off the bat, Jill, before any of the public surveys came out. Now it's a dead ring loser. McAuliffe is backtracking on it. He's saying, well, we don't have the money to take them down after he said they all should come down. The candidate for governor, Ralph Northam, is now stuck with the issue because he changed on it when he thought it was at winter and said, take them all down. And your opponent, Justin Fairfax, is for taking everything down. Monuments, statues.
He thinks they're all offensive.
These things are all offensive.
Psychologically damaging. Can you imagine? Psychologically damaging. So here's my view of this. I didn't hesitate a second. I was out there, talking about this issue long before we had some of the, really big controversies and long before Charlottesville. And so my position is really clear. I am 100% opposed to taking a single monument down. And more importantly, I think that there are some issues in Virginia and frankly in the country that transcend politics. And this is one of them. Virginia's history is the nation's history. How can you possibly, I'm from the Shenandoah Valley, so I'm uniquely, socialized to all of the things that are about Civil War history. I grew up in Mount Jackson, Virginia. There's a Civil War cemetery right off of Main Street in town. The Civil War hospital was in the location where my dad's office is today. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Battle of Newmarket, and when I was little, we used to go to the Newmarket reenactments every year. My great-great-grandfather's two sabers and his pistol were on loan from my dad at the Newmarket battlefield. So I get it. This is history. There are people who come from all over the world to tour Virginia. I have worked, my rear end off for the last 10 years to actually get money for historic preservation. And the fact that somebody would come along with a straight face and say, I want to spend tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money to reverse all that work that we've done to save these battlefields and protect these monuments, that to me is offensive, beyond offensive. And, if there's none of that left for the next generation to learn about it, how will they ever know? How will they ever know? And they don't know. It's clear. You hear people talk about history and talk about who offends them, They don't have a clue about Civil War history or who many of these people are or what they stood for. It's just a, mad dash to seize on what people thought was an opportunistic moment, and I think it blew up in their face. And nobody is going to be stronger on this issue than I will.
And let's remind our listeners again, Senator Vogel, that as soon as this issue hit, you came out immediately for not taking any of the monuments or the statues down. You made an unequivocal statement before you knew which way the wind was blowing. I just want everybody to grasp that, because now we got a lot of Johnny-come-latelys, which I appreciate, because I think at the end of the day, taking these statues and monuments down is a travesty to United States history and to people that believe that these monuments represent a piece of Virginia, a lot of it bad, and we got a lot of bad history in this state. Joe, you're from Virginia. I'm not. I'm from New Jersey, but I've studied the state. There's some bad history here with closing the public schools down over integration and a lot of other things that Virginians did, but it is what it is. And so you have to grasp it, learn from it, understand it, and you were unequivocal in your response, where everybody else, I know, waited to see what was happening. And the biggest flip here is the governor. And I think he's been a good governor. Everybody knows that. But Governor McAuliffe started out, said, you can't take the statues down. Then when Charlottesville happened and he tried to gauge the wind, he said they all need to come down. Then he said, well, we don't have the money to take them down. When he saw the poll numbers were going the other way, you, on the other hand, staked your position out immediately. Isn't that what we need more of?
Yes. I don't care what polls say. I know what I believe, and I know what I believe is right. And as long as I've been in the Senate, I have voted my conscience, and I have put principle over everything else, including party. I've broken with the party plenty of times. But, this is an issue like so many other issues that you don't have to lick your finger and hold it to the wind and see what a poll says or what, the prevailing view is going to be. You do what's right. And those are the kinds of people that I want desperately to run for office and to lead in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had, more people who were willing to step up. So many people who have such strong convictions and who have so much experience, and, they get, look at what happens when you run for office and decide, who has put themselves through that. So I'm proud that I have made it this far. I have loved every minute of the time that I've served, and I've made, every decision acting in the best interest of the people I represent in the Commonwealth. And it's certainly, as a matter of principle, but also as a matter of acting in the best interest of the Commonwealth, how do you, with a straight face, advocate going around and removing all these monuments to history? And, erase it. That is effectively erasing one of the most controversial and significant times in this nation's history. People have to know about it. They need to learn about it. And certainly in the Valley where I'm from, that's all the history there is. It's really important.
Oh, you're right. Look, Senator Joe Vogel, Republican running for lieutenant governor, I would take the hit piece that was done in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and I would wear that like a badge of honor, because I think you nailed it. They don't have a campaign that makes any sense. They're not going to beat you on the issues. You have them all on your side. And so the only way they're going to win is through personal hit pieces. And I was really shocked at that.
It's the politics of personal attacks. And the other thing is, people really hate that. It works.
It's going to backfire.
A lot of the time because people don't know better.
It's going to backfire.
Smart people hate that.
Yeah, that's, Trump changed all that. No question about it. We're out of time. I want to thank State Senator Republican Jill Vogel for being with us today. As always, I appreciate her honesty and candor. And she is running for lieutenant governor. She is the Republican on the ticket. She's going up against the Democratic nominee, Justin Fairfax. That will be decided in our statewide elections on November 7th here in Virginia.